Welcome back. Charlie Wentzky with the South Carolina High School League has joined me, and we are here to talk about what's going to happen this fall. So, Charlie, obviously things are a little bit different right now, and we're all anxiously wondering what's going to happen. What insights can you give us so far?
I don't know that we have any hidden knowledge or any great insights this time, because we're such an influx of information. I mean, it's changing every day.
Right.
Where we were 2 weeks ago, number-wise in our state, and patterns changed drastically last week. So we don't know where we're going to be next week or the week after that or a month from now, 2 months from now. So we're still trying to gather as much information and be as patient as we can, but we do understand that time is getting shorter and decisions are going to need to be made sooner than later. So, but our goal is to start on the 31st. That's our plan.
Okay. And so what will the protocol be that you've talked about thus far? Obviously, again, as you said, it could be transitioning and changing by the minute, but what is the protocol going to be to actually start? Will there be, no fans in the stands, or, more cleanliness protocol? What kind of things are we talking about there?
Yeah, we haven't gotten that far yet to games. I think we're more looking at the timetable of what things will look like if we can start practice on the 31st. We'll be able to play our first games as scheduled, week 0 or not. Some of the protocols of how the stadiums are going to look and fans and all that, it's probably going to be a lot of district involvement decisions where each district has some information they're put in. We just received some information from the National Federation, which is our parent organization, Friday, in regards to some modifications to football and how that could look. So we're kind of right now combing through all that, all those guidelines to determine what, if anything, we're going to actually implement in. But most of it is stuff that you would anticipate that, face masks can be worn, cloth face mask. Coverings over the helmet itself would not be allowed by rule unless it's a clear mask to the face mask attachment. Limiting how far apart the coaches and officials stand for pregame conferences, limiting how far apart the captains stand. So there's just a lot of little bitty changes that we're having to look at and determine whether or not we're actually going to push them to our membership to recommend, or we're going to say, we're not doing that right now.
Well, let's go back to then just the practice. What kind of protocols are we putting in place there? Would it be, obviously, to begin with, maybe non-contact practice and just some conditioning, and then moving into contact? How does that work?
Yeah, currently we're in what we've released as phase 1, which is non-contact conditioning practices, where the first 10 to 14 days would be a conditioning emphasis by our schools. Those groups are limited to 10 people at one time per facility. That would include a coach or athletic trainer that were there. So the reality is you probably have 9 players or 9 athletes and 1 coach. They're going through those conditioning workouts. I think most of them that started should be about into their week 2 right now, or week 3, which would give them the chance to introduce some equipment. But again, that's equipment we're not sharing. So we're not throwing balls back and forth. We're not, a sled, for example, in football, they're not, one kid's not hitting it, and another one's running up and hitting it. They're cleaning it down. So it's still very, very limited at this point. And, phase 2 will open up a little more from that and allow them to do a little bit more than they're doing now. And then obviously a phase 3, and then we'll get back into the full phase. But we don't know when we're going to get into phase 2.
Right. Well, thank you so much for being here to share with us what we do know so far. And maybe you can come back a little closer to the fall so we can get an update then.
Absolutely. Be happy to come back anytime.
Thanks. As always, I appreciate the great information my guests and contributors add to the show. Gustavo Ratia, Jeremy Pope, Latia Nelson, and Wayne Morris are behind the scenes to make all of this possible, and we are so honored that you chose to share a part of your day with us. I'm Betsy McDaniel, and we hope you stay safe and healthy until we meet again for the next Bluffton News.